All right, folks. Greetings, everyone. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, and loving life. We're coming at you tonight with another review of a video of another one of the people that I subscribe to. And his link is down in the details section. If you want to go over and check him out, like I said in the previous video, do your own research. Don't believe me. Don't believe your neighbor. Don't believe the government. Don't believe your mother. Expand your knowledge. Start seeing how other people see things. Do your own research from various different objective points. That means you have to do it from various different views. YouTube is a great platform for that. So I want to remind everybody, hit the like, share, and subscribe button. If you're on Hecklebus, get over to El Perro and do the same. And if you're on El Perro, get over to Hecklebus, hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Help the algorithms. There are PayPal links down there for anybody that wants to share some love. And we're just going to get into it tonight. We're not going to present any StreamYard link. We're just going to do this. And this is Hendry, otherwise formerly known as CH&TY Audits. And again, that link is down in the details section below. And this young man has built up quite the experience. I've been watching him for a while. Like I said, I subscribe to him. I'm not saying go over and subscribe. I'm saying go over and get your objective point of view. See what he's got to offer and see if it applies to you and your situation. And if you can discern whether it means the same thing as someone else or something different than someone else, what those differences are, what the similarities are, and how they play in your life. What importance are they? Are you going to keep sitting on your ass and wait till they come knocking on your door? Or are you going to finally get up and do something about it? And the first thing you can do is re-educate yourself. Please start today.
All right. Hello, everybody. We are live. Okay. So I made a post earlier today saying that I would make this video, this live stream, if it was desired by the people, and it turns out it was desired. So here we are. I'm making it. So guys, I had court last Monday, and I had a contempt hearing held against me by Judge Charles Johnson in the Vigo Superior Court 1. And I want to get into the story. I don't want to be responding to the comments. I just want to break it down and get it out there. It's extremely stressful for me to talk about. It's been extremely stressful for me since it happened to think about, and therefore I want to get this out there to you all. So here's how it all started. A week before court, Tuesday, the week before, I entered the court's office to formally ask permission from the judge to record his court on the date of my trial. I do this because I am certain that I will not get a fair trial. If that is to be the case, I intend on having an accurate record of events during the trial. When I asked to get a piece of paper so I could ask permission, the ladies in the office, Julie, the court reporter, and the clerk, Susan, told me I had to contact my public defender. I told them that what I was doing was completely irrelevant to my criminal case, that this is not a motion with the court. It's simply me asking permission to record. They continued to tell me that I needed to go to my public defender. My public defender has shown himself to be a complete joke, and I knew that he probably doesn't want a trial recorded either, as he would probably do a terrible job and doesn't want a video record. By the way, my public defender is the same one that represented Mr. Joseph Davis in his bench trial in the city court, and he failed there, even though Joseph Davis was completely innocent, and he will be proven to be most likely.
This is another guy that he knows that went through, again, abuse of the legal process, like I mentioned in the video earlier, and comprehend. These people don't know the law. They do not know the law. They will always and forever support their policy because that is all they know. But when posed against the law, They prove, as again in the earlier video, this young man will prove here, these people are idiots. And he brings out some very poignant questions later on. So please pay attention.
So I told them at the court's office that my public defender will not file a motion for me because he is incompetent. Eventually, they called the bailiff, and I told them, since they were threatening me, since they called a guy with a gun to come and remove me, I just basically told them that they were ignorant of their jobs, and I walked out. Now, 6 days later, I showed up at court. I saw Michael Brewer, my public defender, and asked him, as I was instructed by the court staff, to file a motion on my behalf saying that I can record the court on the day of my trial. He said outright, I am not doing that. I asked him why, and he said, because I won't. We went before the court, and these are the non-official transcripts. In other words,
see, he got denied a motion by his own attorney without being able to rebut it as to why. Why would an attorney not do something that was good for your case unless he himself has something to hide? Pay attention to the underlying issues of the behaviors, the reason and logic that doesn't match up. If he's truly there to be considerate for the defendant as a client, then he needs to consider what the defendant can bring forth as supplementary to the facts that are being presumed. Failure to do that is culpability. Failure to allow him to do that in the process is also culpability. Nobody's perfect to their memory, so they have the allowance to make a record of it. That way you can review it and say, oh, wait a minute, there's a mistake I didn't catch at that time.
They're done by my memory. And I want to show you all what I've got here as I'm reading it, because it's a long thing. It's almost verbatim, I'm sure. I've got no way of exactly remembering because the court won't release audio recordings that they take. So we're going to show you guys my screen here as I'm reading it. All right. This is Michael Brewer. Mr. Hendry has been offered a pretrial diversion. Sorry, Michael Brewer is my public defender for anybody who didn't know. So, Mr.
Notice the terminology used is an offer. This is a uniform commercial code term. He was offered. The matter is up to acceptance. They're trying to force him to accept it. The language on the face of the instrument is clarification that they are the ones that are confused. Because if you came to me with an offer and I denied it, you can't force me, can you? Now they have to sit there and babble and bubble and bibble and bobble about what the language of the law says. That's why I urge you to get a concise English handbook so you can beat the shit out of these people.
Mr. Hendry has been offered a pretrial diversion. He requested that I file a motion to allow him to record court proceedings. I told him I wasn't going to file that. That would be something that he would have to proceed pro se if he wants to go that route. So at this point, I think we need a further proceeding set if Mr. Hendry would like to represent himself. Then I say, Your Honor, I don't see the reason why my attorney would have a problem with audio and video records being taken in the courtroom that he's operating in. Charles Johnson, the judge, says, I'm going to cut you off, Mr. Hendry. I'm just going to deny it either way. So you could.
So now we have the judge cutting him off. And again, remember, folks, video and audio in a courtroom is for the benefit of all parties, so that we can forgive each other for the mistakes, because that's all they truly are. But to go forth and then continue stacking on false accusations by making further false entries into a record that can already and is patently false is just insanity.
Could file it. You came into my courtroom last week and you berated my staff, and that will not stand in my court. I've been pretty generous with you so far, and that I will not have any more of that. Okay? Do you understand? You come in here again and I hear anything, you're going to have a contempt hearing, and then you're going to sit in jail until we get this sorted out. Okay? I begin to look at him. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're just kind of staring at me. I then respond.
And I think if you go back and watch his videos, I think the actual incident that started this particular case was a Freedom of Information request or something, as it relates to the other case of his friend or something. I'm not sure. I don't have the complete story, but this is the kind of thing he's doing and has been doing and has a good record of it. He's learning, and it's just a matter of hopefully one day everybody coming together and realizing we're all right in a portion of it. We're all wrong in a portion of it. So let's just start learning how to balance the damn scale. Come with equity if you want equity. Come with peace if you want peace. Come with love if you want love. Come with things freely if you want things freely. Learn how to conduct yourselves.
Oh, yeah, I understand. Charles Johnson replies, okay. And then he says, do you have something you would like to say to my staff? I reply, no. The judge goes, you don't want to apologize for coming in here, being rude and calling them names? I say, I don't recall calling them names, Your Honor. Charles Johnson, the judge. That's not what they told me. I respond, okay. I don't know. The judge goes, we've got a final pretrial conference set September 25th. The hearing was ending. So I say, actually, Your Honor.
So the issue of the name was just a distraction. See how quickly they went on to something else? It's pertinent to realize that when they do those kind of things, that's what they're trying to do, is move you off your square. They want to talk about calling them names. You've been calling me the wrong name all my life because you don't know what the characteristics and personalities, the language and how it works. And you clearly tell people, I don't know the law. Talk to my attorney, you fucking bastards.
Your Honor, I'd like to, Charles Johnson chimes in immediately. I'm done with this hearing. And he yells at me. So then I get up, I walk over to my mom who's attending this hearing because it's very close by her house. And my mom loves me very much. I then go over to my mom and I say, let's head out, Mom. As I was walking out, I waved goodbye to the judge as I noticed he was staring at me in a very disrespectful manner. After waving at the judge, Judge Johnson says, have a seat over there, and indicates to a section of his courtroom. I asked him, why? He says, have a seat over there. Then he tells my mom, ma'am, you can leave, but you need to stay until, and then he looks at me and says, but you need to stay until the end of court, and we will see about having a contempt hearing. At this time, I was very scared because I felt any expression, even an innocent hand gesture.
Okay, sitting in an administrative court of probating estates, particularly if you're not a resident of that community, that judge has absolutely no authority. None. So when he pushes a contempt charge, he's claiming he's the victim and he's the judge of the contempt, and he's going to execute it. And he's doing so now by telling you what to do. Ask him if that's an order.
Such as a wave could land me in a cage for up to a year. This judge was unhinged. So in fear for my life and my liberty, I called an attorney in the courtroom that I know to try to find out what I should do. I called an attorney instead of consulting my public defender because my public defender has expressed that he is not willing to do anything for me. The judge continues to stare at me while I'm on the phone with my attorney. He screams out, are you on your phone? Are you out of your mind? Get up here. We are holding a contempt hearing. I say, I was calling my attorney. The judge responds, your attorney was sitting right next to you. I said, he's a civil attorney. Then my attorney walks back into the court. Judge Johnson says, Brewer, Mr. Hendry was calling somebody on his phone while sitting in the back, so I'm going to conduct a contempt hearing. Michael Brewer says,
he made the distinction between civil and private. It's not one appointed by a public institution. How can they claim privity when it comes from the exact institution that the prosecutor is working for? The plaintiff. That's clear bias in, on, and for the record. Again, they're all culpable. None of them want it recorded. audio or video.
Okay. Then he looks at me and he says silently, if you don't apologize, you're going to jail, even if you don't believe it or you do. The judge starts making a record. He goes, this is Charles Johnson, presiding judge, Superior Court Division 1, 84 DO1-2212-CM-004475. State of Indiana versus Craig Hendry.
Notice he didn't put honorable in there. Now, I don't know if our brother here didn't hear it, didn't record it, whatever, whether it wasn't said, but it's not there. The Honorable Charles presiding. And notice that's a presidence over a residence, a resident. He is acting as the president of the resident. And that is to the statistics placed before him by a false record. How do we know it's false? Resident is specifically defined and states that no person shall reside within the zone except federal, state, or municipal officers or agents whose resident presence is deemed necessary by the board. And no matter what that board is or boards are within the local jurisdiction, the responsibility remains the selective service for all operations and administrations. It is a military zone for trading with the ally. It's to ensure that you're not trading with the enemy.
Now, I noticed when he was doing this, he began to stutter. So I don't exactly remember what he said. And I have a very good memory. As most of you who watch my videos know, I can most of the time quote laws verbatim, even though I don't have them in front of me. And quoting people is actually a lot easier, especially in a stressful situation like this. But he began to stutter, so I kind of paraphrase what he says. Charles Johnson. Mr. Hendry was leaving the courtroom, was disrespectful to the court, to our staff. So he was ordered to remain seated until the rest of the hearings were done. Then he was going to be excused. Now, he says this, but he's lying. He never said that I was going to be excused. He never indicated I was going to be excused. If I was going to be excused, he should have let me walk out of that courtroom. It makes zero sense if he was going to excuse me, to hold me. He essentially detained me for waving at him. He's lying. And if he's watching, if you think that I'm lying, if you think that I'm lying about you lying, Charles, sue me.
See, and that's the point. See, if that judge is sitting on the bench and he's saying this man is disrespecting him, he's going to have to prove the disrespect. This man was only speaking the truth. Again, it's only because these people have something to hide that they present it as disrespectful to say anything about them and their activities. You ignorant fucking bastards. The truth shall stand so long as you learn how to speak it.
This is the judge continued. Now he began talking on his cell phone. There's been a motion presented that was not concerning any sort of video recording. There's still the standard court policy that all cell phones will be off and not spoken on during court hearings.
The truth itself, expressed in any manner, it is impossible to be disrespectful.
This is interrupted court proceedings. Sigh, I got the sigh in there. It appears that the conduct was done out of defiance and disrespect against the dignity of this court. Mr. Hendry, is there anything you would like to say at this time? Then I come in. Guys, I apologize if I've disappointed any of you by saying this. But keep in mind, a contempt of court conviction in the state of Indiana carries a year in jail. The charge I'm in court on carries a maximum of 90 real days in jail. I did not go to this court hearing intending for these threats to be made against me. So this is why I say what I say next.
And this is because he wasn't prepared. Okay? And that can happen. So again, this guy's doing a good job. But these are the kind of curveballs they're going to throw at you, and you have to be prepared for that kind of stuff and be able to rebut the contempt charge itself. How dare you sit on that bench under an Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, needful place or building for the administration of legislated executive orders with judicial determinations and try to placate that I have some kind of bond with you. You ain't my daddy. You ignorant fucking bastard.
Your Honor, I was on my phone because I'm honestly very scared right now. I wanted to call him, my attorney, out in the hallway, but I was told to sit down. And I wanted to talk to him because he is a civil rights attorney, and I really don't know a lot. And I apologize for disrespecting your staff in any way last week. I see that that's very upsetting. And I was heated, and I shouldn't have been last week. I'm a human, and I get annoyed. And that was just a poor judgment call on my part back then. Then Mr. Johnson chimes in and says, Mr. Hendry, we've got a fair amount of time left on this docket, or I think he says a fair amount left on this docket. I'm going to accept your apology. But if there are any further issues, I'm just going to have to go back to jail, okay? And I believe what he meant by saying that was, I'm just going to have to send you back to jail if there's any further issues. I don't want any further issues. Just come in and be respectful. That's all I ask. Mr. Brewer is a very good attorney. He will handle this case very well. I'm sure you've got a question. You probably need to ask him. If you've got
Again, Mr. Brewer will handle this case very well for the state's interest. See, that's who's placating the interest. But again, that's the falsity of it. They're trying to hide the indispensable party of interest, which is the United States, and the principal party of interest, which is yourself. They're trying to take everybody's pieces. That's why you adopt the case and hand it over to the United States in the interest of the United States and in, on, and for the account of the United States, not the record, the account of the United States. 50 U.S.C. 4305B2, full acquittance and discharge, where no person shall be held liable in any court. Now the judge can't do a goddamn thing about it because under 4307, it's giving him the immunity. You're the one that's granting the redemption to say, okay, it's time to stop the bullshit, act like a fucking living soul, and we'll walk away from this table in peace. But if you ever fucking try this shit again, you're done for.
another attorney on something else, that's fine too. And the intent of you coming in here is not to scare you. And I don't want it to make you scared. I understand you're upset about the way this proceeding is, but we're going to have to get through it. We've got the jury trial set if we get to jury trial. And that's kind of the end of my memory, guys. But I want you to know that that is accurate. My reputation as a journalist is on the line here. And if anybody were to sue me over the allegations that I've just made, that this occurred in the courtroom, I'm very confident in defending myself in court. Said probably somewhere in the description that this was one of the most stressful days of my life. You can't underestimate just how stressful it is. Right? But after this happened, after the judge basically lets me go, he chimes in and indicates that he thinks that I think I should get a different public, or I should go pro se. Because the public defender office allegedly will not give me another public defender. It's Michael Brewer or nobody else. I'm only entitled to Michael Brewer as an attorney. That's according to the Terre Haute public defender's office that Michael Brewer is representing. So I asked the judge, I said, no, I don't want to go pro se. I just like a real public defender. He says to me, you need to contact the head public defender. So I did. Immediately after court, I used the adrenaline that was pumping through my veins and I ran directly over to the public defender's office. I left a note with them indicating that I needed to speak with the head public defender, saying who I was, saying that I had an open case, saying that I was represented by that office. That was last Monday. I've not been called since then. I called them since then and left a message and have still received no reply. After court, I also called the civil rights attorney who I called in the courtroom. He told me it would be $2,000 to get him to represent me on this criminal case. If anybody has a desire to help with this, I am asking for help with that fee, as I know this attorney and he does good work, but he works hard too, and he deserves to be paid for it. My Cash App is in the description, as well as my PayPal. Any help would be appreciated. I want to tell you guys about my experience after this court date. I went back home and got around 12 hours of sleep over the next 3 days. I've had an elevated heart rate, as this watch has been telling me. I don't know that for sure, but the watch is telling me. And I've overall just been feeling very scared. The freedom of expression is truly dead in Indiana. Charles Johnson is one judge of many that is putting the nail in its coffin. And by the way, Charles, again, if I'm lying about anything I said on this live stream about you, sue me. Same to you, Michael Brewer. These slime balls are trying their very hardest to ruin me and silence me and probably cause me traumatic brain, they're trying to screw with my head. We'll put it that way. They're traumatizing me. I've always heard if they really want you gone, you must be doing something right. I certainly hope that that's true. I want to tell you guys.
What do you guys think? Give me a 1 if you think he's doing what's right and true. Give me a 2 if you don't. Remind yourself, do you really want to be Hitler's willing executioners, rewritten all over? This is sickening, people. We really need to stop it. And it starts with you. They're not going to do anything about it. The only thing they're going to do about it is keep doing what they're doing, despite the fact that they already know they don't know the law, but they're going to keep enforcing the law that they don't know. And how do they do that? Because you don't know the law either. You better learn it, because someday they're going to come knocking on your door.
So I mentioned earlier that the public defender said I was offered a deferral agreement. And actually, I might have that on my person to be able to show you all. I do. So a deferral agreement, I want to tell you guys about it before I go on and do my deferral agreement. So the deferral agreement that the state that's offered me is a deal in which I do not admit any guilt, and they dismiss the charges. But the catch is I essentially cannot be charged with a crime for 12 months. That's 12 months after I sign the plea. My question is, if I'm being prosecuted on 3 other charges I received without committing a crime, I did not commit a crime, and I've been charged 3 times, 4 times if you count the civil charge that I went to jail for 5 days for. I sat in jail for 5 days because a judge got his ego hurt. He told me I could apologize and get out of jail anytime I wanted. I sat in jail for 5 days just to show him that not everybody in America is going to fold to these people. Now, unfortunately today, or on the day.
You guys catch that? Sound familiar? I thank God for people like him and Paul.
That I'm reading you this unofficial transcript of, I wasn't willing to risk it because I did sign a deferral agreement on a felony case out of Lake County. That is, the felony is a scary thing for me, guys. Like I said, they're scaring me everywhere. They scare me in Lake County, they scare me in Vigo County, and they're scaring me in Boyd County, Kentucky as well. But so the deal is, my question is that if I've been charged for not committing a crime, how am I to trust the state to not charge me again in the future? I already don't trust them with the first deferral agreement. So that's why I haven't been going out and auditing as much as I have. That's why I'm bringing you guys content based on my own court cases, because they have chilled my First Amendment right to go out and record police through these plea deals. How am I to trust them to not charge me without me breaking the law again? I can't. Essentially, what would happen is 11 months in, or what could happen is 11 months into my deferral agreement, I could get charged frivolously for not committing any crime, and they could rescind the deferral agreement, and we would be back to square one, awaiting a trial. That's why a deferral agreement is not attractive to me, whereas it might be to somebody else. It might be to somebody who actually committed a crime. But that is not me. And guys, so I really want to say thank you all for being here. Thank you all for joining me and paying attention to this. It's scary for me to even come out and tell you all about this, because there is a rule, a judicial rule in Indiana that says that you can't record any hearing. Now, I didn't record it, but I have a good memory. And I'm scared that these people try to threaten me some more in the next court hearing because I brought you guys this story. And of course, they'll be concerned because I brought it to you extremely accurately as well. So guys, I wanted to tell you, this judge is in Vigo County, Indiana. I see civic duties up here. Josh, if you'd like to come up here onto my live stream, I'd be glad to have you and talk to you about this. We'll have too long. I think I got about 10 more minutes on this live stream to talk to you guys about. I want to show you all the deferral agreement. We are going to be showing you the deferral agreement. So if anybody's in here right now, they want to see it, stick around. We're going to get the deferral agreement in front of the camera. I just am going to have to work that out. So guys, it's Vigo County, Indiana. It's Superior Court 1. The judge is Charles Johnson. And there's more to this story as well, so stick around. Let's get into that right now. Civic Duty, we're going to send you the StreamYard link, and we'll get you in here if you want to be in here. All right. Guys, Civic Duty is about to join us, I think. He runs a great YouTube channel on the other side of Indiana. I'm on the west side. He's on the east side. And if he can join, he might be coming over. But regardless of whether he joins, go ahead and drop him a subscribe. Tell him that Craig sent you. Tell him that Hendry sent you. I see a lot of people in my comment section right now that have sent me messages from Indiana talking about their own experience. With the corrupt judicial system, and this is bad. So guys, I'm going to show you the deferral agreement right now. We're going to try to get it up. If anybody does actually want to look at it, take a good look. Take the blur off here. We're going to take the blur off of the background. Do that. All right. here is the deferral agreement that they offered me. If anybody would like to take a screenshot of that and read it, the state agrees to withhold prosecution and to dismiss the case listed above at the expiration, at the expiration of this 12-month agreement if the defendant fulfills the terms set forth in Section 2 of this agreement. However, the defendant's failure to comply with any conditions of this agreement, including timely payoff of all fees and costs, may result in the state proceeding with prosecution. Okay. They even actually in this agreement work faithful and suitable employment. Who determines what employment is suitable? That's what I want to know. Who determines what employment is suitable? I'll tell you who. The prosecutor determines what employment is suitable. All right, guys. So we're going to bring Josh in here. Josh, thanks for being here, man. I want to talk with you about this issue. I want to tell you what's going on.
My apologies. I just left and came back and didn't realize I'd hit pause when I hit mute and stuff.
I want to know what you think about this. So, guys, this is Josh with Civic Duty. He is a monster, as it describes him on his name tag there. I share a lot of his videos. He does great work in India.
And I do want to thank you for that.
Yeah, and thank you, man. Thank you for.
I will say though, like I said earlier, sounds familiar. Again, this man is standing up and doing what he thinks is right, and that's the most powerful thing we can do. But as people that are standing in the truth, if you feed a man a fish or give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. But again, the true underlying principle of that is to pass on the knowledge. So the importance of that lesson is to teach him how to teach others to do the same thing for themselves. You need to learn how to stand up for yourself. And the more people that learn how to stand up in truth as that self, the better that truth will be heard.
For doing what you do, because right now and in all of history that I've lived in, you are the bravest Hoosier when it comes to standing up for our rights. And so I thank you for that. But let's go on. So this is the deal with this Judge Charles Johnson. We're going to get a picture of him up. He is the guy in the thumbnail of this video. But for anybody who's been following this case, which is a lot of my subscribers, thank you very much. Everyone knows that I was charged with this back in February, or sorry, the police report was filed back in February of 2022. And at that point in time, I am not completely sure, but I suspect that Judge Charles Johnson, whom I cannot find any picture of at the moment, right?
Why is that? Like, I tried the same thing with Nick Berry, could not find a picture of his ass.
Well, obviously it came up when I was doing the thumbnail, but I don't know. It's not showing up. So guys, this guy worked for the prosecutor's office before he became a judge. And it just so happens that I was charged with the crime at could have been the same exact time that he worked for the prosecutor's office. Now, I will tell you, in the state of Kentucky, They've told me, the judge in Kentucky has told me that that is illegal. It's a conflict of interest, and she removed herself from the case. She brought me up there immediately just so that my kid didn't have to sit out in the car and wait forever. She brought me up there and said, I know you, Mr. Hendry. I recognize you. I'm aware of your case. I was in the prosecutor's office at the time that this case was launched, and because of that, I'm going to be removing myself from this case because I can't trust myself to be unbiased. Now, that judge was very nice. She was very polite, and I have nothing but respect for her, especially since she got my kid out of that county as fast as possible. What's your take on that? Have you heard anything about a judge being in the prosecutor's office creating a conflict of interest in the state of Indiana? What do you think about that, Josh?
When me and Arnett sat down before we had the whole falling out, we talked about conflict. He said even talking to somebody about.
Oops, I forgot I had my mic on there. The thing about this is when you start going forward in the truth and stuff, you have a vested interest that has changed because you have a moral change. This is what you need to go through in order to do this stuff, to come out of that cognitive dissonance. Now, the judge that did this, or whoever did this, has a certain level of comprehension. But again, there's 8 million codes plus. They can't possibly know them all. And I'm sure that the base foundation that I have of all the codes that I've been researching, I'm sure many of them aren't familiar with many of them. So again, it's truly only me that's going to be able to pull my ass out of this shit. And I've got to be able to express it to them competently, in order, concisely, and in peace. The best way to do that is through paperwork privately. I'd never recommend going into these courts anymore. But again, this man is doing a powerful job. Please pay attention. Please support him. Please at least check him out and get that objective view and find out what he's really about. Does he have the heart that I'm posing that he has? I hope you see it too.
About stuff. Having knowledge of the case before the evidence is presented is a conflict in itself.
Right. And so in that, and so he might be feigning the idea that he doesn't have knowledge of the case. But let's be real, Josh. What's your experience when you make a video on a county or when you make a video on a city? What would you say that most county officials are aware of the incident? Or would you say that it's the biggest deal in most of these counties?
When I pour this blue liquid into the clear one, something very interesting happens.
Especially depending on the size of the county too.
Right. And Vigo County is a little bit of a bigger county, but I went hard on these people. I mean, these people didn't stand a chance against me. I was up here every single night. Tyler were up here every single night bringing you guys footage of cop watching audits all the time. So they all know who I am. And anybody in the prosecutor's office knows who I am. These people are ridiculous. There's five.
I used to joke and say that probably about 30% of my viewers and my views on my video were them, and the repeat watchers were probably them.
Well, hey, you probably have seen it. I had a sheriff's deputy make that same claim about my videos.
Oh,
Says, you know that it's only cops that watch your videos. By the way, put a 1 in the chat if you're not a cop and you are watching this video. Jordan Allor, if you're watching, look at all those ones, man. They ain't all cops, you know. So, but right, it's a big deal in the county that we do it in. We bring a lot of attention. They don't like us, and so I find it extremely hard to believe that Mr. Charles Johnson did not have any knowledge of the case prior to taking it as a judge.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So yeah, and then also, have you ever been offered a deferral agreement, man?
I have not, but they gave one to the mayor's brother when he tried to yank my body cam off.
Right. They only really give it to people that they like, love, or they don't have a case against.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a quick.
And so I want to make a very important point here. If they didn't have a case against him, then he in fact has a tort claim. If they dismiss it, that's an agreement of a waiver of extortion. See, they made a false commercial claim. They kidnapped him in doing so. They stole a child of Israel and made merchandise of him. And there's proof on the record, and they want to dismiss it. No, thank you. If anything, I want to adopt the case and then transfer the title with expenses incidental to the United States in their interest, in, on, and for the account of the United States, so that they can do the proper settlement and clearing in a proper merger, in a salvation of the honor. And that merger will go to the one that salvaged it, and it shall be merged into the new name. It's a simple process of knowing the truth and how it rises.
Plea agreement, basically.
Yes, it's a plea agreement that nobody
And
admits
inactive
fault
probation. Yeah. A plea
Yeah.
agreement and inactive probation all at the same time. You're
in.
hooked.
Right. It's just like it's
Inactive probation. Probate courts. Administrating the estates of probated persons, those with no living will. How can you not have a living will if you know the faithful saying, I will that thou constantly affirm, he who have believed in God, be careful to maintain good works that are profitable unto man.
it's a plea agreement that's literally off the book. So it's like the reason that they're giving it to me is because I've got one in Lake County. Lake County's already been served a tort claim. They already know they're getting sued. You know, this is just a way for them to say,
Do you hear that? Tort claim. Tort claim because they tried to extort him. They tried entering false data elements into the record. That's a 30-year sentence alone.
hey, look, we're not admitting fault, but you're not admitting fault, and we're not going to criminally prosecute you. That's basically what it is.
Exactly. Does that sound like the peace agreement of a full acquittance and discharge? This man's coming to the concept himself. He's not using their codes, yet he's speaking the same language. So now if I go help him with that similar language that they do and must comprehend according to service to the commanding general, then maybe we can have a little more power or empowerment that can pass through us.
And so that's what they're giving me. And I took it in Lake County because it's a felony case, and I'm not willing to go to trial because people do get convicted by juries. Right? I'm not even sure the jury selections are completely not corrupt. So there's that. So I'm more willing to take a Class B misdemeanor to trial than I am a felony.
The jury selection is corrupt. It is a false legal process wherein it claims that the citizen is the one that holds the identification when that is false. The holder of the instrument holds a personal liability. It remains in the instrument. This is the simple fact that proves every jury selection is false and cannot be, in fact, true. I dare anyone to rebut that in front of an English major. Aye, Captain.
You know, understandably. Yeah. But Josh, what's been going on with you, man? What have you been up to? I see you working in Hendry County.
Yeah, Henry County. Henry County is the county you need to stay out of. You will go there and they would be like, ooh, we can hook his ass quick.
Oh, yeah. I saw that old guy, man. That old guy was just wanting to get beat up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Did you see the live from Friday?
I didn't see the live. I'm going to watch it. I've been meaning to watch it.
Live streaming can be tricky, and sometimes trying to find the right soft and make your
watch it, and
They
everyone
threatened
watching
me-
this should watch it as well.
They threatened me with criminal trespass for having my camera / phone and attempting to go into the Justice Center, to the clerk's office.
And I also saw that you let him off easy this time.
Criminal trespass, him being wrong. I
Okay.
let him off on that, but the other one he's going to have to pay for.
Okay. And see, I think that's reasonable of you, man. I think that's very reasonable. We just zoomed right in, didn't we? We're filling up the whole screen. So, guys, I've been neglecting the comment section. I see that we've had a few super chats, and I do want to acknowledge those. We've got the Smoking Auditor. This is his, it looks like, membership anniversary. He's been a member for 14 months. He always is in my live streams. Thank you so much, man. You're great. I think we're friends on Facebook. Reach out to me, brother. And then Lenny.
And remember, guys, when I suggest that you go check out these channels, one of the things I intend for you to check out is, because I've checked them out already, you check out some of the people that are supporting them too. This is how we network.
He's been a member for 7 months. Lenny's been one of my longest supporters. He's been a member for like longer than 7 months though. It's just not showing that. WATP, Lenny. And then Brandon Mitchell, member for 2 months. Thanks, Brandon. Constitutional Freedom Fighter, $10 super chat. Respect 1,000 decisions for making your own decision on your freedom. No one else matters. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate that sentiment a lot. And then Question the Answers, $5. Thank you, Question the Answers. So
I was a little mad at you though earlier today. How do I get the frauditors to start attacking me, man? The frauditor troll people and stuff. Like I type in my name in frauditor, almost nothing. But like you're all over the.
See them damn trolls? See, that's good for marketing. So keep on trolling, bitch ass motherfuckers.
Damn place up there.
I know, I can't get away from it. This is really the way that you get the frauditors onto you, man. You're doing it. So you kind of were focused on Winchester for the longest time. I see you're expanding. You're getting your views are blowing up. In the past week, your views are blowing up, man. Your channel's blowing up. All you have to do is be a successful freedom fighter, do it for a long time, speak sense, and love liberty, and you'll do it, man. You're on your way. They are going to hate you.
The only one I've seen so far was the stuffed animal that looked like a butthole mouth talking.
I don't even know him anymore, man. Really, the only one that I know is Frauditor Troll. He does good work. I laugh at my own videos on his channel. I don't care what anybody says. Like he's a funny guy, whether he's a snake or not. So I watch him. But the other ones, I don't watch. I have no time for it.
One of the things that kills.
Very poignant there. See, this man knows himself, and he can let trolls be trolls and even have fun with it. You got to learn how to give and take both ways. But at the same time, hold your position and know who's giving and taking and what it is. See, Frauditor Troll puts out these satires and stuff like many people, but Chris knows the difference. His call out to the judge is calling him out to prove that he's lying. And the judge can't do that. Even as a third person witness, I can see the material facts and evidence that say otherwise. Learn how to discern it.
Me the most is he talks about you actually going out, doing work, recording, editing, putting the video up of your own raw content, and talk shit about you not having a job and you have nothing better to do, as he's stealing your work and your videos, talking crap about it, making money.
Absolutely.
And you're the bad guy.
I know. And not only that, man, but I don't know that we have, but I would say we have one of the most dangerous jobs in the US when it comes to just risk levels in general. I don't fear for my life most times when I'm out. There have been a few times, like actually the case that we're talking about now. They pulled guns out on me. They had the flashlights on me and they had guns out on me. That was a time that I did fear for my life.
I kind of talked about that last night. Is we're more in an age where when we were younger, I know you're still kind of younger than me, but when I was younger, cops weren't this scared of shit. Now it's like,
men.
Yeah, now they're so afraid of everything, and the top priority is to make it home to your family no matter what. And it just.
And that's what we talked about in the video earlier. That's the issue of kidnapping people for their safety and security, which are all false.
Wasn't like that. We actually had real men when I was growing up that said, I'm going to run into that building that's on fire. It's going to suck if I don't make it home, but I'm doing my job.
Or I'm going to go save those small children who are being attacked in a school.
Yep.
It's insane what they do, and they hide behind officer safety. And I don't want to share the video on it. James Freeman has a video where he shares the police training facility for some state, and they're like, if you can't kill a grandma, if you can't kill a baby, this job isn't for you.
Be here. Yep.
Yes, and they're not lying about it. They're open about it. And that's the thing. Back to what I was saying is we have a very dangerous job, and I don't know about you, but I've never.
That's another one we'll be reviewing one of these days. James Freeman.
any money from a lawsuit. I didn't go into this thinking I won a lawsuit.
I honestly didn't start this trying to do anything. I was just like, I can't believe this shit's happening. Good thing I recorded it. Let me show it to some other people and see what they think. And then before I knew it, people were like, subscribe. And it was like, oh, okay, I'm doing this.
Right. And I started it. Me and Ty started it just because I've been extremely passionate about it for 5 or 6 years now. And I kept telling him, like, I want to do something. And he looked at me one day and he's like, let's go do it, dude. And we went and did it. And we just recorded, got started, man. It was a Greene County video where we went to the sheriff's department and denied their request to put on a mask. And we blew up really because of Lackluster. You know, it all happened. It wasn't intentional to happen like that.
There's another one. See, he was watching Lackluster videos, who does reviews of other auditors and stuff, and kind of tells you what guys kind of gives his own point of view and stuff, pinpoints things like I'm trying here. And so he was watching Lackluster with his friend Ty, and they decided to get up and actually be active in it and become auditors. So there's another connection, Lackluster audio videos. Again, another YouTube channel.
But they act like, you know, we're in here to get clicks and views. And obviously, you know, I've made this into my living now. So one of the goals is to make a living off of it. But
well, I tell them straight up, I said, you're correct. I am trying to get clicks and views, but not for the money aspect, to spread the word to more people so they can see what's going on, so more people can wake up. So you are correct. It is for the clicks and views and the shares. And
yeah, absolutely. The more attention that we bring to these situations, the safer everybody is, you know. And so that is what it is. Euphoria is the goal, right? We'll never reach it. Corey Steele, thanks for being here, brother. But yeah, so they say that we are out here trying to cause problems. We're really just out here recording what they're doing. And if they weren't doing anything that they thought the public wouldn't like, they wouldn't be worried. But they are. We are a problem.
From yesterday, there was 13 sheriff deputies that showed up, and elected sheriff looked straight at me and said, look what you're doing. You're wasting the taxpayers' money. And I looked at him and said, I didn't call you. I'm not the one who made the call. I'm not the one who showed up 13 deep.
I love it how you...
Exactly. One person calls, makes a false accusation that is recorded through a dispatch agent. You guys catching on? One voice starts it all, and it's a cacophony of fucking cowards. You fucking ignorant bastards.
I love it how he's insinuating that you actually have the money to waste.
Yeah.
You know, you got no access to any of this money. He's the one wasting them out. It's insane. It's insane. But guys, I don't want this live stream to go on for too long. Civic Duty, Josh, thank you for joining me, man. I really appreciate you coming up here and giving us your opinions. Just before we leave,
I didn't stand you up.
I really do appreciate it, man. I'm sorry about that.
Hey, no problem.
But guys, before you leave, we got 159 people. We got 164 people. It's like, I'd like to see Josh get at least half of that in new subscribers if you all aren't already subscribed. So guys,
I'm more thumbs up this damn video. There was like 40 something when I was on there. Oh, 154 now. I'll shut up.
All right, we're up there. We're right where we want to be. But guys, go subscribe to Civic Duty. He's doing work in Indiana. If you miss seeing the Indiana tyrants in action on my channel, you won't miss it on his. He's over there interacting with them on a daily basis, and he's uploading videos as often as he can. So guys, thanks for hearing the story. All the links that you'll need are in the description. Have a good day, and thanks for being here. Bye-bye.
Okay. So you guys comprehend the basic element, as we've been talking about here in regards to the birth certificate, enumeration at birth and all that. The basic element is to learn how to journal. Create your own private journal. And just because it's private doesn't mean you can't correlate it and republish it with other people amongst your network. Learn how to network, learn how to journal, and then market that. And you can market it as a group consensus rather than a Bureau of Vital Statistics, which needs your census anyway. See what I'm saying? So anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining me. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Help get this out. There's PayPal links down there. If anybody wants to share some love, I can always use it. And in the meantime, remember, I love you, but I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back. May you be blessed. Have a good night.